Hey there and happy Thursday, guys. I'm here to wrap up Chris Huting's virtual card demonstration with card number 3. She's going to leave her party open yet for just a couple more days. So if you're kind of debating on what you want to order, she has a couple more days to give you before she decides to close up and finalize her list. It's going to be a fun one from her, I know. She loves to color, and she also loves to scrapbook and puts together some amazing books, and she does classes too on them. So it's kind of fun to work with some fun papers, because she does a lot with Stampin' Up! Papers to put her pretty books together. And the group of friends that she's with loves to color. And all of a sudden today, as I was getting ready to finalize a card that I wanted to put together, I realized out of this grouping of 3 that I've been demoing for her party, I have not made a card using any coloring techniques or coloring at all. So here is Chris's card, and I thought, let's pull out some pumpkins. So hey Tori, hi Pam, and let's see. There's a couple of you that I missed right away too. So, and Brenda, hey, good to see you. And so this group isn't really crazy about Halloween, but who doesn't love fall, and especially if it's pumpkins and not jack-o'-lanterns? So that's why I'm like, yay. Oh, good, and Tori likes it, and so that's good. Hi there, Wendy. And with that, I'm just gonna see if my iPad is caught up yet. I don't think so. Maybe I will just set it down. I never like to take too much time on getting this set up and waste your time, but I also like to catch comments and such too. Hey there, Lisa, good to see you. So I'm gonna set this down for now and get my camera turned around for you guys. And Pam's on here. Pam loves to see me color, so I'm gonna make sure I move the camera a little bit closer. I'm going to kind of do a wide shot of the desk area, and then when I get to coloring, then I'll move it in closer. Okay, so once again, here is the card. So thankful for you. I feel like fall, harvest, things like that. There's always obviously Thanksgiving in there, so that's always so nice to have that. I wasn't sure if I was putting too many colors together. Can you put too many colors together? Yes, you can. And so it's kind of like a hot dish with too many ingredients. You can do that. But I really like this Beauty of the Earth paper, and I'll tell you where that's at and such too. But this is coming from the mini catalog, the stamp bundle. So Pretty Pumpkins, just a couple weeks ago, I did this card using the Pretty Pumpkins, kind of focusing on the dies. Well, this is that same stamp set, actually the same sentiment now that I look at it, using different dies and such. So how fun that cards can look completely different, but also using the same products too. So yeah, so Lisa, I was like, I wonder if you like the blues with the orange. Blues and orange go together. If you have a color chart, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they are supposed to go together. So yes, Pam, I will color. I'll give you a lesson today. Hi there, Amy. So yeah, with that, I wasn't sure, and I kind of had this piece down and this blue down, and you'll see I'll leave a space as I'm doing it, and filling it in to me kind of sealed the card, sealed where you drew your eye, and that kind of made things come together too. So of course my inspiration is from the paper, and so that helps too. Hi Marie, yes, I love fall and I love pumpkins. So glad that I am not alone. I know a lot of you do too. So in the mini catalog, the Pretty Pumpkins bundle is found on page 48. So you can see there's different types of pumpkins, there's vines, there's different sentiments too. So lots of different options there on page 48 with that bundle too. So that will get you going for your fall pumpkin needs. Let me put this stamp set aside. I think what I'm going to do is start with, okay, now my iPad's working. That kind of distracted me there for a second. I'm going to start with doing my stamping. So with that, I'm going to pull out my Memento black ink pad. Thanks, Maureen. And actually, since it's a bigger stamp, what I like to do is kind of ink it up that way. So that way I know that I'm getting everything inked up in black. And we have that like so. And then I'm also going to go ahead and open up my pumpkin pie ink pad, and I'm just going to stamp out the sentiment right away, so that way the images that I need for the front of the card are all done. So just going to stamp out the "So Thankful for You" and set that aside for now. And let's see. Oh, I was like, what did I do with my cut and emboss machine? It's right behind me. Usually it's on my desk, so that's why I'm like, where did that go? Okay, and before I spend time coloring, I always try and tell people, don't color your images first and then cut it out, because what if for some reason you're cutting it out and this thing moves just a little bit, and then I would be devastated, because like coloring and I aren't always best friends. So if I take the time to color, although with the blends, you guys know that now I am a fan of coloring because the blends make it always look so nice. But I would hate for somebody to go through the time and effort to color something and then have it move, and then you have to start all over. So I love this die because it cuts out just that little piece, gets really close to everything, and makes the pumpkin look very natural. And that's kind of a nice look for that. So next, let me think. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and color this. So let me get on, I always say, my coloring glasses. I hit that special age this year where my eyes like to see close up. Okay, so for this, I'm using Pumpkin Pie Blends Light and Dark. And it takes just a little bit longer maybe to color this in today, but so worth it. Actually, there's only a couple of colors that I'm using, so that always makes it go faster. And with the pumpkins kind of nested up against each other, you can kind of go right along each other, along the lines of each pumpkin, I should say, and it's going to be okay. And because the green that I'm using is Mossy Meadow, that's kind of forgiving too, because it's darker. So if you have to kind of go over something that you've went too far onto the leaf with a pumpkin pie, that's going to be okay too. And as I'm kind of coloring in around my leaf, I remembered that there's dies where if you want to make this card and kind of pop up this leaf on its own, you could do that too. So I'm just going to kind of go like this and make my sides a little bit wider with the dark up to that line. I'm just going to kind of trace this line, gently trace this line and go down there. And then this, I'm going to just kind of fill in more on the edges and then trace this line and this line, that line, kind of the same thing over here. So yeah, once I kind of get that outline done, then it goes really quick. And then this, I always laugh at these. These are the light and dark, and almost looks like a whole different color because the light is so different than the dark pumpkin pie. So I'm just filling that in. I'm kind of pulling from the edges to blend the light and the dark together like so. And then there's one little spot next to the leaf up here that I want to be light just because I think it'll kind of highlight that area close to the leaf in light more than it would if it was dark. Okay, so I have that. And something that I don't use very often, and those of you that use the blends a lot, is the color lifter. So I kind of want to just take the brush tip and just kind of circle the insides of these pumpkins a little bit, but especially the big one. And you can see how that just really fades out that color. And it almost does it just a little too much on the big one. I'm just kind of highlighting that one because that's the main one, and I want kind of the look of more sunlight hitting that than the other one. Now with my brush tip of my light, I'm just going to kind of catch those edges and soften it a little bit with that. But I think it makes it almost look like if you buy a die cut from a store. Isn't that fun, just with using those? So yeah, thanks Kay for sharing this. And then the next color that I'm going to go over and use is the Mossy Meadow. So I feel like I have more control when I use my bullet tip here. So I'm going to start with my bullet tip here and just kind of trace along the leaves. They're a little bit more detailed than some of the big things, but actually I wasn't too frustrated when I tried to color these in earlier, and especially once you get it outlined, then it's really easy to follow through with some of the lighter too. Now I have to look at my card here and go, did I use lighter or darker on my little curly cues? I used the lighter of the Mossy Meadow. So for the stems of each pumpkin, there's 3 of them here, I'm just kind of going along the inside edge there with the darker, and then I'm going to highlight the outside half. So it's going to kind of be half and half versus outlining it and filling it in the middle. So that's it for the dark. And then the light, I just go on the side of that. And then because it's a bullet tip, it gives me a lot more control to do a little curly cue like that. I'll fill in that, fill in the rest of that, and I'll see if I can follow this curly cue. And kind of, it doesn't matter if you stay in the lines either, because it kind of gives it a natural look, and if you stay in the lines it's pretty spindly, so going outside kind of actually kind of makes that little curly cue noticeable. So that is it for coloring. Ta-da! Hi there, Melinda. Okay, so you can see how the blends really adds a lot of character and depth with the light and the dark there. And as it dries, you can see like the pumpkins already, the pumpkin color, pumpkin pie is already kind of blending together a lot more than just a few minutes ago. So let me kind of back up my camera angle again, so I have a better view there. And now it's time to do some assembling. So the Beauty of the Earth, I said I was going to show you some more of the paper. So this is the paper that I'm using here today. And then the back side has this pretty blue that I was going to kind of save for a winter scene, because the Beauty of the Earth bundle has those pretty trees and stamps that have trees. So if this paper looks familiar, these are my packages and part packages of that. So what I did is cut, I'm going to cover the entire card front. Usually I kind of do the matting where it's a 1/4 inch less, but I cut this 5.5 inches, so it goes all the way across the entire side of the card. And then same with this. So it's 5.5 by just 3 inches. And then what's left when I do 5.5 inches across my 12 by 12 a couple times, then this is exactly what's left over. And I thought, well, that could be kind of fun to have that little space. It's not the worst thing, but I do like the way that closes it in with the Mossy Meadow too. So let me get that tacked down. But this is also one of those things that I like to show you with the teaching element of, you can take any of your pretty papers and copy this type of layout with them. So, so this is 5.5 by 3, and this one is 5.5 by 1 inch. So you can just kind of do that, and that just goes right up to that edge there, like so. And now this little tiny piece is just a 1/2 inch wide, and that's 5.5 inches long. So that's gonna just fill in that little space, almost like a belly band, but going the opposite way, like so. So now before I assemble this little pumpkin patch here, that's going to be the focal point, I want to take the Misty Moonlight, which my designer series paper on the back side says that's what color this is. I want to kind of tone it down to make it closer to this color, but I love how that blue and orange are together, guys. And so I'm adding just a piece of vellum. Well, we all know we have to be careful when using vellum. So what I'm going to do is take and pop up my pumpkins on the vellum first, and then we'll see exactly where we can hide some actual adhesive to know where we're going to put that. So let me peel off all these little pieces here, like so. Got that on there, and then I want to put that on my piece here. I want to move that so people can see it's Chris's party if they're joining in. Okay, so I'm going to put my pumpkins here. So now I know that this all can put adhesive or have adhesive put on, because if you put adhesive anywhere where it'll show, if that makes sense. So if I were to just kind of put it along the edges here and tape it down, you'll see adhesive through your vellum, and it's not pretty. So we've got this right here like so. So an easy way to hide that. And then I'm just going to go and continue to tape that down. And I'm going to leave just like, like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch strip to show the continuation of this pattern here with the top. And then we have stamped out the So Thankful for You. Some of this isn't, for some of you, this isn't your forte, but I'm going to fussy cut this. So I'm just going to quick do that. It doesn't take too long. Thought about even doing this ahead of time, but sometimes people go like, did she really cut that? Or how do you? So a lot of times I just kind of keep my scissor in place. I kind of maybe will pick it up every once in a while, but for the most part, I move my cardstock, not my scissor. And because this is kind of a cursive-y flowing design of words, then it kind of makes like there's no right or wrong. So that kind of gives you some leniency on how it looks too. So just kind of here and there, out and around, and before you know it, you're almost done. So go like this, and then every once in a while I will have a little chunk that it looks maybe too rigid like this. And so it's kind of like trimming fingernails. Sometimes you just have to, make sure. I don't have a file to file that down, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you just have to take that extra little bit off of there. Okay, so we have the So Thankful for You, and I want to pop that up as well. I want to make sure I get the dimensional on there well so that nothing is sticking up over the edges and shows. And so with this, I can also use a little dab more of my adhesive to get under that. So that's going to go up here. And so, oh no, okay, I thought that was going to stick. So I'm just going to take and put just a dab of adhesive there to help stick down my vellum. And so I want to show you that is how obvious adhesive is when it shows through the vellum. And so since we're covering that up, that works really well. And so I'm going to kind of squeeze that in so it's next to my pumpkins, not going off the side of my card there. So Thankful for You. Got it. And then you guys know me, I love to do my embellishments, and if there's something that I can coordinate with the inside my card, I like to do that. With the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set, there's this little swag of greenery and actually kind of a pumpkin blossom too. And I'm going to do that in Mossy Meadow. Hi, Diane. Nice to have you on here. So I'm just going to stamp that out across the bottom. And if you wanted to go all out, there's actually a die that can cut that out too if you wanted to add piece, or if you wanted to color that in. Some of you would be like, oh, I'd be all over doing more coloring and would want to color that in too. And you could, but I'm just going to leave mine just the plain Mossy Meadow color there. And that's going to be the inside of the card. And then we get to go to the embellishment part. And for fall, it's kind of fun to pull out some fall colors and golds and things like that. So I'm bringing out my gilded gems. And these have different sizes, and I wanted the bigger, and I've got plenty of big, so I was like excited. Do you ever do that? Like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to work with, and that's what I have the most of, so that's good. So I'm going to go to the largest ones on my packaging here, and I'm just going to put kind of one in that corner, and then one in the opposite corner. So this fits pretty tight there, like that adhesive that I've put underneath the vellum is pretty tight, so I don't feel like that's gonna move. This one is a little bit looser here compared to that one. I'm going to leave this one, but this one I want to show you another kind of little sneaky technique. So with my take your pick tool, I'm just going to pick off a little glue dot there, and that I'm going to put on, if you can see, the back side of my gold gilded gem. So it's going to stick right onto the vellum, and when I press down, the gold gilded gem is covering that up. So now when you put it in your envelope, this is not going to pop up at all, and hopefully this side won't. Or if you are making some and maybe your pumpkins are over a little bit and you're worried about this coming up, you can just take a glue dot and go right underneath there too. So the vellum's not something that is going to just fall off your cardstock, so that's good too. So you don't need a lot of adhesive for that. So that is card number 3 for Chris Hutank's virtual party there and there. So with the thankful for you, I just thought leaving the inside sentiment free would be the best kind of combination that way too. So let me get my camera turned around here. And it's Thursday already. I'm still debating about what to do tomorrow. I feel like I'm behind kind of on getting cards out to you guys, and yet I have had more time at home, so I am catching up. But if I decide to start a party tomorrow, it would be Deb Warwick's, and if I don't start it tomorrow, I will definitely start it on Monday. I'm excited to start her party, so that's my dilemma, is I want to get going on it right away. And one of her guests has COVID, and so she's like, please do some card demos because I'm stuck in quarantine at home. So that would be kind of a nice treat for her to be able to have something to watch too, because it's never fun to be stuck at home or not feeling well. So if I go live tomorrow, I'll give the heads up and you'll see a video, and I know a lot of you watch it on replay, so that works out for you too. But just know that that's coming up too. So parties that will be closing up soon will be Deb King, Kelly Muller, and then Chris's too, all within the next like few days to a week. But I have like 3 more hostesses lined up too. So there will be lots of card inspiration coming to you. How you can get Chris's 3 cards that I've made in this little series is if you place a minimum $25 order towards her party, then you get the 3 cards that I've made as a thank you from her and I. If you have any questions about using the host code to connect that, you can let me know, or if you need help placing an order, I can help you with that too. So thanks so much, Kay. That's so sweet of you always. And have a great rest of your night. See you guys later. Bye-bye.